Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture do what? Everybody said connect. You got it. All right. Hit the subscribe button. Why don't you? Much appreciated. Thank you to all of you who've been following the show, making this thing grow. You are all that and a bag of chips. And seriously, I appreciate you. Chennedy Carter is in the news, so to speak. People are talking about Chennedy Carter. Yesterday, the 20th of January, was the last opportunity for Chennedy to be cored by the Chicago Sky. Now, I did a video just a few days ago, once again reiterating what every single person who has ever had to coach a team understands. And that is the culture of a team is important. You can find talent all over the place. Mind you, Chennedy Carter definitely is a special talent, but people want to have peace. Just like you want to have peace in your home, people want to have peace in their jobs. And Chennedy Carter has been a disruption of peace. And so the Chicago Sky didn't core her. That's one thing we're going to talk about. Another thing we're going to talk about is a tweet she put out that has people all abuzz talking about that more than talking about her not being cored. That's really where the news comes in. So, are you ready? Good. Let's get to it. Annie Costabile with the Chicago Sun-Times has been a reliable source. So when we hear that name, lots of people who report what's going on in the news, when they see Annie Costabile or hear that name, they go, okay, this is probably something that I can count on being accurate. So there's an article she put out last night, meaning Monday night, January 20th. The headline is Chennedy Carter will be an unrestricted free agent after Sky decide not to extend a qualifying offer. And subheading here, according to multiple league sources, the Sky's decision not to offer their leading scorer was tied to locker room issues and an overall concern that re-signing her would negatively impact free agency. Like I said, did a story or video last week, several days ago, on this same topic. I said then, I don't know what the Sky is going to do, but I also said that word on the street was that it was probably not going to go well because the general manager has a new coach, doesn't want to deal with the issues. Now, the Sky last season had more problems than Chennedy Carter. Last season, the Sky had a coach named Teresa Weatherspoon, now coaching in a rival, who seemed to do everything in her power to prop up Angel Reese and the double-double streak. But Chennedy Carter was certainly an issue and has been an issue throughout her career. And so they were saying they probably didn't offer her anything because they didn't think anybody would take her. So let's take a look here at this article. It says the deadline for qualifying offers came and went on Monday without Sky general manager Jeff Pagliocca extending one to guard Chennedy Carter. Okay, happens to people all the time. The thing that makes this stand out extra is because Carter is good, okay? So Carter was the Sky's leading scorer, and she last season with 17.5 points per game. She will now become an unrestricted free agent, which means beginning today, she is free to field offers from any team in the WNBA. And on February 1st, players can start signing contracts. Okay, so why was the Sky not willing to make an offer to the leading scorer. Here's a quote from Pagliocca, the general manager. Chennedy had an incredible season for us last year. Pagliocca said in a statement provided to the Sun-Times. She's extremely talented, and we all agree, and is a player that can impact the game at the highest level in our league. We absolutely appreciate all she did for our team last year. However, we've made changes to our staff and will make changes to our roster. Those changes impact Kennedy's fit on the team. So we wanted to give her the best opportunity as a free agent. Okay. So let's translate, okay? Chennedy Carter is such a concern for their team in the locker room that although she's not just talented, she's extremely talented. And she's a player that can impact the game at the highest level. She is a top-notch player who doesn't just take up space. She can actually impact the game, not in a mediocre way, but in the highest possible way in the league. Among the players they always tell us are the best players in the world. Okay, general managers acknowledging that absolutely from the start. However, is the big word here. We've changed our staff. We're going to make changes to our roster, and she's no longer a fit, if she ever was. And we know changes to the staff. Teresa Weatherspoon was let go. Teresa Weatherspoon, to a certain extent, enabled Chennedy Carter. At least that's what Word on the Street is. And we saw what we saw. We saw things on the sideline after Chennedy did things. We saw Teresa Weatherspoon coming to her rescue in interviews and press conferences after she had done something, So she enabled her to a certain extent. And they said, you know what? We took care of that too. We took care of the problem in the coaching staff. And now we're going all the way. So we're going to make changes to our roster. She doesn't fit. So we release her to pursue her destiny. This goes on to say the Dream drafted Carter in 2020. So she was in Atlanta with the 4th overall pick. In her second season, Carter was suspended by the Dream and subsequently traded to the Sparks in 2022. Carter played 22 games for the Sparks in 2022. And what happened in 2023? She was waived. So she missed the 2023 WNBA season, and she signed a training camp contract with the Sky last February. In 84 games, she has averaged 14.6 points, 2.8 assists, 2.5 rebounds, and we know that Carter has not reached the highest level she can reach. She can do even more than that. But multiple league sources say that players were unhappy with the dynamic created in the locker room last year because of her behavior, which Teresa Weatherspoon did not check. So there was concern within the team regarding how re-signing Carter would impact the Sky's chances of landing other free agents. I will stop there. Here's the lesson that your mama tried to teach you when you were young. And some people need to take notes because I'm still hearing people. I turn on the video on YouTube and people are still trying to push Chennedy Carter because they say constantly she's a great player. Everybody knows that already. But I turn them off now. I just turn off the TV or change the channel or whatever, change the YouTube video because you still don't get it. As your mama tried to teach you when you were young, it's your attitude that makes a difference. People would rather say, hey, let's see what else we can do. We're not going to bring someone in who constantly has issues and affect the team. And other people don't want to come because she's got a reputation throughout the league of not being someone you want to play with. So can we stop pushing the Chennedy Carter thing and we got to recognize that there are things that as talented as you are, we're not going to allow you to destroy things. Now, one thing I can tell is that people feel like I feel. They want her, they want to like her, because people who like good basketball, they like good basketball players to have a chance to ball. They want to see them play. And so sometimes it's a huge disappointment, and some folks just don't want to let it go. Now, somebody, I really, like I said, want to like her, and she's doing well overseas, and maybe she'll get another chance and say, I'm going to take full advantage of this chance. But like I said, I'm cheering for that to happen. But if I'm a coach or a GM or whatever, I got to cheer this year. At the least, I have to cheer for that from a distance. And as I watch you, as you prove yourself on American soil, okay, then I can make some decisions, I guess, somewhere down the line. And then if I say, oh man, I should have jumped on that and signed her and all that. Well, I mean, we all have things that we say, well, if I knew, but I didn't. So, but it is what it is. I wish her well. But that's one part of the news. But the news is what she posted on Twitter that has people talking, in addition to the whole not being court. Let's take a look at that. So over here on Hollywood, that's her Twitter, if you didn't know, she posted, I think the ability to consistently make layups just puts anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. It's interesting because folks just said, man, she took parting shots at Angel Reese. And for those people who don't like it, understand there's a reason why you thought she was taking shots at Angel Reese. Okay? There's a reason. And that's obviously because Angel Reese has had a problem making layups. And so people are like, oh, she's taking a shot at Angel Reese. Some people like it. They find it funny. And some people are offended because they love Angel Reese. But what did Chennedy Carter say about what she meant? Okay, sounds like she's talking about Angel Reese. People say, I think the ability to consistently make layups just puts anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. First of all, it's kind of interesting because what she said is it's really, it's important to make layups. It's important to score easy, but making layups should be the bare minimum. It really shouldn't put anyone in a different tier. Okay. Being able to assist the ball at a high level, being able to block shots at a high level. I mean, but layups should be the basic. Shouldn't put you in a different tier. Should put you in a tier with everybody from junior high on up. So anyway, I just found that kind of interesting. But then there's been a lot of talk, like I said, about why she was calling out Angel Reese, so people said. So then she comes out with this. I just focus on me. That was literally about me and how special of craft it is. Not bothered at all by the spins. You telling me how you really feel, to be honest, had nothing to do with anyone but myself. Interesting. It was about her and how special of a craft it is. I'm going to say what I just said. I just kind of find that odd because being able to make layups should not be a special craft. And Chennedy Carter does a whole lot of stuff. And so it's kind of weird to me that she would be like, oh, I'm talking about myself, that what sets me apart from everybody else is that I make layups. No, what sets, a Caitlin Clark who shoots logo threes, that's what sets a person apart, right? You would say that. A pinpoint thread the needle pass, that's something. And by the way, if my background seemed wavy, it's because I still had the virtual screen setting on, because I use the virtual screen for the second channel. Anyway, it's fixed now. I'm like, you're probably like, why is she waving? Anyway, yeah, so it's not really a special thing to make layups. It shouldn't put you in a certain tier. But I also look at what she said. She says, I was literally talking about me. So I look at it this way too. I don't get the impression that Chennedy Carter would have backtracked if she was talking about Angel Reese. She doesn't strike me as a person who would then offer to backtrack. She kind of seems like a person who doubles down and says, I said what I said. So maybe she was talking about herself, although I don't get it. But it just, like I said, the interesting thing is people's mind went right to Angel Reese and thought she was doing, taking shots. But in any case, whatever she meant by it, she said it. It is what it is. It's out there. And now people are all over it and talking about it. But people are want to do those kinds of things. So we'll see what happens with Chennedy Carter. Again, I just turned off people who trying to talk about her coming to the fever, all this other stuff, because again, everybody who knows, and you want the best opportunity to win, and talent has a way of not being enough to keep your team together when things are off the wall. And so I do wish her well, and we'll be following to see what happens next in her career. Let me know what you think in the comments respectfully. Hit the subscribe button, please, if you haven't done so. Click that join button too and see the options that we have for perks for members of the channel. I'd appreciate that. I will catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.